Hello everyone, welcome to Blue Dragon Actuarial. This is the first video of the counseling series, and here we are going to discuss about the MBA and Actuary. Now, first of all, although you are kind of seeing this video at 9 a.m. or after that, I am kind of recording this video at 2 a.m. This was not planned video. The video that I have planned was for tomorrow or right now. I mean today at 7:30 p.m. And that was like creating every one video every day is quite tough. Like you have to go through a lot to kind of make someone understand and try to give best examples. And along with that, if you create this kind of video which will require much more work in terms of creating and presentation. So if you like the content of this video at the end of this video, please don't forget to like. And I also want you to share, because I think this would be your one-stop solution for this question, MBA and Actuary. If you ever had this question, if you are currently an actuary student and you want to do an MBA, I think this will be the video that probably you are waiting for. If you know someone who is kind of thinking about MBA versus Actuary, I think you should forward this video to that person. So please like, share, and subscribe if you like the content. And if you want to see more content like that, please comment in the comment section. So without any further delay, let's start. So first of all, what is MBA and what are the perception that we have about MBA? So first perception, that is, it is well known. If we can easily say that I am an MBA. My first qualification or my I am working as an MBA. I have qualified as an MBA. Everyone will know that, and it will instantly follow with a social status. And I have seen that. Basically, I am from a village, so not that highly educated village. So that's why when I like when initially when I was an MBA, and everybody kind of thought that I've done something really big because I'm an MBA. And that is also one of the reason I'm making a topic on this video, because I am also an MBA and I'm also an associate actuary and very close to becoming a qualified actuary. So and I've worked for 9 years, sorry, 8 years in actuary, overall 9 years in life insurance. So I mean I do have the kind of background to make a video on this. So yeah, moving on to the next point, that is high package. There is a perception that if you do MBA, especially from some of the brands that IIMs or XLRI, FMS, you get high package. Or even if you are doing it from some mediocre college, you'll at least get a job. That is one of the things that people are kind of, especially the parents, are kind of interested in. At least, even if not a high package, at least there is a job. And there would be a demand that will always be existing. So MBA can be like MBA. It's a common thing about MBA is MBA are master of none, but MBA is a jack of all trade but master of none. So it is a common perception that MBA can fit anywhere. It's be it a niche profile, be it a normal profile, be it a sales profile, be it a finance profile, MBA can fit anywhere. And also the specialization in MBA is mostly in marketing, finance. There is also international business these days. You can also specialize in IT these days. So there are like couple of things that you can specialize in. So there MBA can, and we have seen, for example, MBA, a person who has done MBA in marketing has ended up with a job in finance, and that person is doing well. Similarly, and a person who has done MBA in finance is kind of doing a marketing job, is the sales head of a region, and that person is doing well. So MBA can fit anywhere, and that's why there will be ever existing demand, because these are generalist job. This is not a niche job. This is not a specific profile kind of job, which actually is. But MBA is something that it can fit anywhere. MBA can also be an HR, right? So MBA can fit anywhere. So what is the method to become an MBA? First of all, you have to write some entrance exam, which is CAT, ZAT, MAT, FMS, IFT. When I wrote CAT, initially I got 57 percentile only. Then I rewrote CAT, I got 96 percentile. Now, one of the important thing that I would like to call out here is, what do you think is the difference between a person, say, who is getting a 99 percentile and a person who is getting, say, a 95 percentile? Because I think probably all of us have seen LinkedIn post filled with something like this. I'm thrilled to announce that I'm getting admitted into, I'm Kolkata, or I am getting admitted into I am Indore, I am Ahmedabad, etc. And those guys have kind of scored 99.8 to 99, 100 percentile. So what do you think is the difference between 99 percentile and 95 percentile? So I'll come back to that answer maybe at some later stage in this video. But right now, just keep on holding to that question, and if you have an answer, keep it in your mind. High percentile, obviously, you require high percentile if you want to get to either of these colleges. IIM, XLRI, FMS, IFT, you require high percentile. Along with that, you also require extracurricular. So when I was kind of writing CAT, because I'm from village, I never went to a drawing school. I never did some voluntary work or charity work because my financial condition was not that great, and we would probably require charity instead of doing some charity work by us. I mean, that was the condition. So there was no way I could have any extracurricular. Even studying and getting books was difficult, but that is something that people are looking for. And if you have some done like if you have some voluntary work or social work experience like that, you have played cricket, you have played football, something which is different from academics, then your chances of getting selected into MBA or CAT or IMs, etc., those are much higher. That's because they are not looking only for someone who is just good in academics. If you have a complete profile, then they are more interested in you, because that shows your overall personality. And MBA is overall a personality development course. I mean, uh, it's just that, MBA is a personality development course. It's not about learning or subject, or it's not about building your knowledge. It's more about personality development. A person who is maybe not that street smart after an MBA, that person can become a very street smart person. That's the goal of MBA actually. And there would be a GDPI. Obviously, I was very bad at GD group discussion, because there will be 15 people sitting, and you have to kind of make your point shouting at the top of your voice so that your voice point can be heard. And I mean, I always like to be stay away from, stand apart from the herd. And by doing that kind of shouting and fighting, I always feel that maybe I mean. If someone is shouting and if I am also shouting, how am I different? So I don't understand that point. And I think many colleges have probably done away with that thing. Like they have probably removed the fact that they want GDs and etc. There is right now, there is only personal interviews, but but many colleges have GD. In fact, even in the placement, there are many colleges or many companies which work for look for GD. So I think GD is an integral part of MBA, and I don't think that is kind of relevant. It doesn't judge anything, but I mean, that's how it is. So that's about MBA, the selection process. Right now, moving on. So MBA, the curriculum. So it is a trimester based system. It is a case study based kind of syllabus or study, mostly, not for all subject, may not be for finance subject, but for marketing subjects, for IT subjects, a case study based thing. And it is done in groups. So one of the good thing or probably bad thing is you have to work in group. And what happens usually is, in the group there would be three people who would be very hard working, they would be doing most of the work, and there will be two people who would not do anything, and they would depend on the other three people to kind of finish their work. So what happened, and also those people, because they don't do quality work, it is those three people who would be ending up doing those work most of the time. So if you are in a good group, nothing like it, you will learn from each other. But if you are in that kind of group where there is a lot of cross subsidy going on, then there would be, like, you will feel pressure. Next, there is exam every hour. That is one of the main thing of MBA. As soon as you step into MBA, the very next day there might be a viva. The very next day there might be presentation. In fact, there might be four classes of 1 hour each with a presentation, and you might be preparing the presentation in the 5 minute gap between each of those classes. So that's how time consuming or pressurizing MBA can be. And there are several exam, midterm, main term, they are inventing exam like anything. So MBA is full of exams. You are writing exam every second of your life, and there would be slide based questions. So the teacher will teach you from slide. That's the usual process, and they will ask question from the slide. Now a person like me who likes to kind of build knowledge, go deeper, what I've, so I can tell you a personal story from my own life. When I kind of studied a book, and I wrote the answer to a question based on that book, and I was given zero in that question. So when I was kind of given the paper, I went to the teacher and said, "See, this is what is written in the book, and you've given me zero." And I mean, I could have scored less mark. I mean, maybe 4 5, but and it was, I think it was a 8 marks question. And you gave me zero, so I don't understand why you have given me zero. And that person told me that I have given you a slide. You are supposed to write from that slide. You have not written from that slide, so I've given you zero. And that is, I mean, purely nonsense. Right? It depends on knowledge, but that's how MBA checkings are done. And I have heard of similar stories from my other MBA friends. So this is a normal thing. This is a common thing, and it is this teacher who is kind of moving from, like, we change jobs in corporate, we move from one company to another. So these are the teachers who move from one college to another. So that's the culture that is kind of followed. They know what they are teaching in the slide, and they expect the answer to be written from the slide, and you have to kind of memorize the answer and kind of regurgitate those answers in the exam. Right? Say MBA, the big question is placement. Depends on the locality or previous batches. So this is the true fact. As for example, if you are doing MBA from Delhi, so in Delhi, the overall culture is of a little bit of extravagance, a bit of show off. So here people are very straight smart. So the jobs that you'll get will be marketing jobs, mainly sales job or branding jobs. You'll see most of the Bollywood heroes are from Delhi. Shah Rukh Khan is from Delhi. There are, yeah, I think there are Ayushmann Khurrana from Delhi. Most of the people who are kind of tall, good looking, this people are usually from Delhi. And one of the main criteria for marketing sales would be that, like, if you are good looking, presentable, it will augment your work ability to kind of sell. It's not that if you are good looking, you would be able to sell. Sell is a different skill altogether, but that would help you. And that's why, depending on the locality, you will get the job. If you are kind of doing MBA from Mumbai, then the chances would be higher that you'll get a finance job, because it is a hub of the finance, and many finance companies are located there. So it is easier for the finance company to kind of go for a placement in Mumbai than to come to Delhi for a placement. Though there are companies who will go to colleges, and obviously if you are doing it from a top college, like I am Ahmedabad, I am Calcutta, it doesn't matter. People from HR representative or company representative from any part of India would come to your office. However, I am talking about normal MBA colleges, like, which are between top 30 colleges. There, the location would depend, and obviously a company which is located in a particular locality, that company would go to that college, which is kind of located in the same locality, right? So that's why it depends on locality. Also, it depends on previous batches. So if in the past, most of the people from an MBA college is kind of placed in finance sector, so that means that that college has built a good rapport with that company, because most of the people who are kind of placed from that college should be in finance. Also, few of the people might have got promoted to senior level, and they are hiring right now, and they might come to their own college to kind of do the hiring, and they would select people from their discipline only. So it depends tremendously on the previous batches. That's why you'll see a person or MBA college who is which is kind of good in marketing, which has done marketing related placement. The next year also, the highest package or most of the people would be kind of placed in marketing only. Moving on, the CTC that is shown, you will see a lot of advertisement about CTC: 15 lakhs per annum, 20 lakhs per annum, 25 lakhs per annum. So all these are CTC, that is cost to company. It is not fixed CTC. Fixed CTC is the CTC that you get in hand. When I was doing MBA, I had no idea about what is meant by fixed CTC and variable CTC. I thought CTC is CTC, So it is the total salary that will get divided by 12 when you will get the money. That's not how it goes. So if you get 10 lakh CTC, if you divide it by 12, you will not get the money. Say 80,000, 90,000, or 1 lakh, whatever that is coming out to be. You will get much less than that, because a portion of your CTC will be fixed CTC, and that is the money that you are going to get. Rest will be variable or bonus. So MBA shows fixed. MBA shows the CTC and not the fixed CTC. And I think most of the people would not understand that, because they do not have corporate experience. Also, average CTC is a false measure, because one company can give a very high package to one person, or one person may have contacts, and that person might have used his or her contact to kind of get into a good company or good salary. However, the MBA college would show that salary as their own salary, or as the salary that represent the batch, and one high figure will kind of distort the average. So that's why average CTC is a very false or wrong measure, because there would be a lower bound. Like most of the colleges put a lower bound, like people or companies which are offering less than 5 lakhs cannot come for an MBA college for placement. There might be a lower bound like that, but there would not be any upper bound. So that's why there would not be any extreme low salary that can impact the average, but there can be an extreme high salary then that can impact the average, and that's why it's a false measure. Always go for, if you have the chance, ask for the modal salary. So modal salary will be the most frequently given salary, and that would be the true picture. That would represent a MBA placement or a MBA college. Average salary is just a false disguise. Moving on, placement also depends a lot on the faculties and their industrial relationship. The most of the people who are kind of teaching in MBA, they would not be like PhD teachers, and that's why I told you that they would be teaching from slides. They would not be willing to kind of learn. So most of these people would be slightly old, and they would like to go to slightly more less pressure job, and teaching would be something that would offer them good package. However, there would not be that pressure of, say, timeline or targets, etc. So those are the people that usually would go for an MBA. And now it depends on the relationship they have with the industry. So they can use those relationship to kind of call few people for placement, and they can also use that in their own salary negotiation. So they can say that I am from banking sector and I know this bank, so if I come here, I can kind of influence the bank to come for a placement, and for few of the colleges that will be a great deal. So that's why it depends on the placement of, it depends on the relationship that faculties have with their maybe previous company or companies, or any friends of those faculties who are kind of working there. Okay, moving on. Same way, the main advantages, possibility of a job. So one of the perception was that you'll get a job. I think that perception is mostly correct. You'll get a job. Does not matter how much salary you get. Maybe you'll get only a 3 lakh job, but chances are very high that you'll get a job. At least people know that in MBA you have the ability to kind of present. You have the ability to kind of make a PPT. Right? You have some ability to speak in English with bit of fluency, so you will get some job, right? And those are skills that may enable you to kind of stand in a showroom and sell something. So you'll at least get that job. So it does not matter how much salary you are getting, but you will be getting a salary, and that perception is usually correct. Unless the economy is very bad, you should get a job. Stress management and common sense. So I think because you are constantly in an environment of writing exams, you are constantly in a group preparing PPTs, you are constantly preparing for some exam, you're constantly reading and memorizing from slides, and there will be times when you are writing an exam where you have not read a single page on that exam, and you have to write something, obviously, otherwise you'll fail. So you have to use your common sense. You have to kind of recollect things that you've learned in the class, and remember those things and write those in the exam. So that's why your common sense tremendously improves. And as people say, common sense is not that common. So this is one of the biggest advantage of MBA. Stress management is something that I have very rarely seen in people. As soon as slight stress comes, they kind of get panicked and they take all the wrong decisions. So stress management and common sense These are not taught in MBA, but as I mentioned, MBA is a personality development course, and that's why these are very important thing that you can learn out of MBA if you are sincere enough. Making presentation in English, as I mentioned, the very fact that I'm making this presentation, and if you're liking this presentation the way it is, and I have not used very, like right now it is 2 a.m. in the night, and I don't have the energy. In fact, I'm feeling some difficulty in speaking, and I'm very sleepy right now. But the fact that I'm making this presentation is because I have done an MBA. I have learned to make much better presentation than I'm kind of making it right now. But those are the things that you would learn in MBA, because presentation matters in MBA. And expertise in searching Google. I think most of us know that the biggest teacher is life, and after life there is Google. So the expertise in searching Google, going to a website, and by that way you will know hundreds of website where some relevant information would be stored. So I think you will get a tremendous expertise in Google. Before MBA, I never knew that I have to use Google that much. I never had any a good internet connection. Actually, after and while doing MBA, I understood the importance of internet connection. Otherwise I would have completely failed MBA. So this is very important, searching Google. So few of the other advantages: if you have a good brand name like I am Ahmedabad, you will get a good job. And if you get a good job, you'll get a good exposure. You'll meet good people who are thinking out of the box, and that will help you to think out of the box as well. So those are the things that you can get from a good brand, but that will not happen for an average MBA college. So if you are also doing it from a good brand, you can get a business loan. Now you not get a home loan easily, you not get a personal loan easily, but for business loan, because you are using that designation salary, like I am from I am Ahmedabad, that would help you to fetch a business loan at an early age, which would be difficult for some other people. And also because you are doing MBA from I am Ahmedabad, you are, maybe you have already spent 20 lakhs in those 2 years. So the bank know that you have money, otherwise you could not have spent that much money. And as is kind of said in a Hindi movie, that bank only give loan to those people who don't require loan. So bank know that you don't require loan, actually you can manage it, but you are not willing to search for it, so bank could give you loan easily. Next is may leverage a network over time. So I think if you have seen Shark Tank, probably you have seen many people who are coming to that platform for teaching, and they know a couple of people, or they have some connection. So these are these are very closely knit connection. If you have some, these are like a clan. And for example, I'm from Bengal, so wherever people see people conversing in Bengali, then someone might come up to you saying that, oh, you are Bengali, where do you stay, etc. So there is an instant connect that happens when you are part of a community, right? Same thing can happen for an MBA. So you are from my college, or you are from Ahmedabad. Also, there are get-togethers that happens after regular interval, and you might go there. You might find someone who share the same taste as you, who share the same risk, uh, or who is kind of willing to take same risk as you, and you can obviously leverage those. And obviously you can find like-minded people for startup, because it is a group. MBA is a group culture. In MBA you form a group and you work in that group, you make PPT in that group, you solve questions in that group. So that's why you will find a couple of people who might be sharing the same interest as you, and you might find a founder, a partner there. Same way, disadvantages: subject knowledge is zero, because you are not going there to learn a subject. You are going there for personal development. And in my MBA, I did management accounting. There was credit and debit, and I think uh, up to last, I think before 2019 or 2020, I had no idea what debit and credit means. I did pass the exam though in MBA. So subject knowledge is zero in MBA. You will only those subject in which you are already good at. Like if you ask a few of my MBA friends, what is Urban good at, they will say maths, because I have done maths in graduation. I had very good knowledge of maths. I still do. And then maths, whenever there was a subject based on maths, like game theory, or game theory was a decision making subject. Then there was quantitative finance. So this kind of subject I did very well. And people know that I'll be doing very well, because if there is something in maths, then Arpan would know something. So I think if you are good in some subject, and that same subject or similar nature of subject appears in MBA, would be good in that subject. You might learn something there, but in new subject, there is no subject knowledge there. If you are expecting to learn something in MBA regards to subject, your expectation is, for the lack of better word, dumb. Part of groupism you might become. So I have seen many good people, because of that group culture, they do everything what the group does. They go to party, if they, even if they don't like party, generally they drink, they smoke. And I have seen people getting vested in MBA, just because they're part of the group and they want to be part of the group. They don't want to be left out. So that's something that happens in MBA. People, because people are seeing group, they so want to socialize that they become part of the herd without them realizing. And then the downfall starts. Obviously a huge loan on liability. So there is a huge financial liability that you have when you are doing MBA, no matter from which college you do. And that is something that is kind of going to pinch you. You will not get, I mean, the first 2 year salary might be gone in kind of paying that liability. And I think 2 year is much lower time frame. Might spend much more kind of paying back that loan, unless your parents have enough money to kind of pay for it at one go. For a normal person, I think it would be a huge liability. And I think the course that MBA offers, if you are good in, not good, if you are reading newspaper daily, you would have knowledge about all the cases, right? And also case-based studies very incorrect, I believe, because what is correct in a particular point of time for a particular company may not be correct for you. So although in case-based study you are discussing various scenarios, but those scenarios are kind of given weightage which are kind of closer to the real solution that has been done. So if you are studying newspaper, if you're studying books, there are so many courses available at so cheap rate these days, especially after COVID, when everything has moved online. I mean, doing an MBA, I mean, is kind of, yeah, it's a huge liability that you are taking, and probably you can learn all of those stuff at much cheaper price. Obviously, you will not get those, the part of that alma mater, or the whatever advantage kind of stated, the brand value, the business loan, etc. You will not get that. But if you are only interested in knowledge, you can get that knowledge online very easily, very quickly, and very cheaply. So now let's move on to actuary perception. Obviously, 1 crore package. Everybody is interested in actuary because actuary pays 1 crore package. I mean, that's a common standard thing. Any fresher that I interview, I ask them whether they have entered actuary for knowledge or they have entered actuary for 1 crore package. The obvious answer is they have entered actuary for knowledge, but they know in their heart that they have entered for 1 crore package, and that is kind of visible in their eye, although they are saying something else. So we know why people are doing actually 1 crore package. That is something that is kind of propagated by the coaching center. And need I say more? Next is, it is very hardcore mathematics and statistics. Like if you don't know mathematics and statistics, you can't be an actuary. Clearing paper is everything. Once again, like 99 percentile in CAT, we see LinkedIn being flooded with, I have cleared this paper and I have spent my night, I have spent my day. I was almost dead. I was in ICU, and that's why clearing this paper is such a motivational thing. So clearing paper is everything. And the problem is that clearing paper is good, and in fact it's very good, it's very important. I am not denying that it's not important, but retaining the knowledge is far more important. So you can clear a paper, but if you don't know anything in that paper, when you are kind of asked say a slightly deeper question, then it is not going to help you. And another perception is, once you clear 3 to 4 papers, you'll get a job, right? So these are the perceptions of actually. We'll see if these are correct or not. So actually the how you what is the method that you usually follow. So first of all, you have to write an entrance exam, which is asset or II. Right now, I think there is a provision that if you pass couple of exam from IFOA, you can also get admission in II. I don't know after 2000, like after 2021 being over and this is 2020, if that provision still exists. That's why I mentioned asset only. You can write CM1 or CT1 and get membership in IFOA. You can also give money and get membership in IFOA. So in IFOA, there is no entrance exam. That's why most people choose IFOA. Also, the passing rate is a bit higher in IFOA. But right now, I think IA is also kind of matching up to that passing level so that they get more revenue. So I think if you see the recent pass rate, it's 30% or more, at least for 90% of the paper. Other than SA2, though. In any case, the way you prepare is you go through the material, you go through the revision note, asset, and also go to the past paper. And obviously software learning, Excel, VBA, R, Python, these are very important. And I think these days everybody knows that, right? So these are the method in which you kind of prepare for Actuary. The curriculum, there are 15 to 13 papers, 13 papers in the new syllabus, 15 in the old one. It is mathematical, that is true. However, it is also very, very theoretical, especially the higher papers are completely theoretical. In fact, in the lower papers also, there are a couple of theoretical portion, and also the papers which are earlier mathematical, as for example, for us, CT4 was a highly mathematical paper. But the recent times I have seen the paper has become theoretical. So for us, it was much more difficult to clear the paper. The passing rate varies between 8% to 15%. And right now, I think it is much more easier because you are writing theory. And although theory fetches less mark, but it is also more easier to solve. And you will get some mark in theory. And that's why the passing rate has increased, because they have kind of changed the pattern. Software coding is a part of the course now. In our time, software coding had to be learned on their own, but right now, you know, R is a software which is kind of used in several subjects. Then Excel coding, Excel is used, not coding, but some bit of Excel. CP2 is a subject which is kind of done entirely on Excel, and also CM2, I think, had Excel embedded in the course structure now. Communication is also built in the course. The higher paper is entirely about communication. Communication is an aspect that is kind of tested, which is also a part of MBA because of giving presentation. But here it is written communication, it is simplified communication, multiple layers of communications are tested. In fact, CP3 is the paper which is on communication. It is called communication only. So specific importance has been given to communication. Placement or job, high supply and demand, right? So especially in the fresher level, there is high supply and less demand, although things are changing right now. But in the senior level, there is high demand but less supply. And also, as I mentioned, people clear paper, but they don't have the knowledge, right? They know that if some difficult question come, then I'll not be able to answer it. They're good in process, but they're good in how part, but they're not good in the why part. And that's why you'll see high demand in the senior level, but very low supply. Non-actual jobs are kind of disguised as actual one. And without naming any company, there are many companies which are providing IT jobs as actual. They are called, the designation given is actual as to whether it is actually a IT job. So this kind of things have started happening more frequently now. Starting package is of 4 to 6 lakh as compared to MBA, which was around 8 to 10 lakhs maybe. Here it will be 4 to 6 lakhs. But also in MBA, you kind of give 2 years. You also have a financial liability, but in actually don't have those because the amount is split, right? So you apply for one paper, you apply for two paper, that you don't have to kind of pay at a go, and you don't waste that much time. Maybe after 4 or 5 papers, you can start applying for jobs, and if you get a job, then you don't have to sit for 2 years. So paper is far less important than knowledge. One of the point that I've already covered. Knowledge is way more important. It is, your paper is just enabling you to get to that level where you can work, where you can have the ability to do good work. That's why paper is important. But beyond that, when you reach that level, then your work ex, the why part becomes much more important than just taking something in Excel, just pressing a button running something, getting some result, and saying it is matching. I mean, there is no brain work, and that would not get you anywhere, even if you have 15 papers. Further advantages. So an actuary is a person who has command over finance. Obviously, I learned about credit and debit, so I do know something about finance. You have to code, and right now this is built. You had to be a good communicator, because you are dealing with so many parties and people who don't understand a bit about reserve or stochastic modeling. So, and please do check out these videos that I have created about stochastic. This is indeed a different difficult subject. I might put the link in the description. You will also be a project manager, and all would be built in one if you are working in the actuary. So all this skill set would be part of your life day in and day out. If knowledgeable, then you can give salary instead of taking one. So I think most of us wanted to take 1 crore salary, but think about giving 1 crore salary, because if you are giving 1 crore salary, then obviously you are earning more than 100 crore, because then only you'll be comfortable giving 1 crore salary. So think from that perspective, and actually can do that, because if he has knowledge, or if she has knowledge, then that is an easy task. 1 crore is easy, as I mentioned, but not after 15 to 13 papers. You need to have knowledge, you need to have good work ex, and you need to know the why part. Then you can get to that level. And obviously you need a lot of patience. You develop a lot of patience. Clearing 15 papers, 13 papers is no piece of cake, especially if you're working, especially if you have started writing papers when you are working, especially if you are married, especially if you have kids. A lot of patience is required. So I mean, yeah, that is something that you get to learn in actuary, and not in MBA. MBA is not about patience. MBA is about moving fast, but actually teaches you patience. Disadvantages: many paper actuaries, like by paper actuaries I mean those who have cleared papers, but lack the requisite knowledge. And I think if you have worked in industry for some years, you will know there are many people like that who are just managing, who are just kind of approving your leaves, but cannot help you debug a problem, or give some answer where there is a why part involved. So those paper actuaries will find it difficult to get high package, and they will stop at certain level, maybe 50 lakhs, maybe 40 lakhs, 30 lakhs. Beyond that they can't go, because they don't have the knowledge to kind of clear those interviews. Then there will be taxing days. Everyone is interested in why, right? And they look up to actually to answer this why. So it is very difficult to kind of know the why for everything, but you have to keep on trying. That's how you grow. That's what actually stands for. And there are many definition of actually, right? I think in II website I've seen actually is someone who made financial sense of future. I think actually someone who answers the why in the business that he is working in. So that's my definition of actually. The personal life may get hampered. Like I mostly my friends complain that I don't have personal time for them. Uh, I mean that can happen, right? And it is up to you how you can manage that, and how can manage your study, because weekends are very important. You have to study, but you also have to go out. And I mean, no person is a one man show or one woman show. We need people in our life to kind of grow and excel. So friends are very important, family is very important. How you take care of them while maintaining your corporate life good, and your study life good, is up to you, and you have to learn that. That's why you are a project manager. A bit of rough culture. I thought of mentioning this point, because if someone is kind of working in the core companies, at least I have faced a rough culture. Sometimes we made wrong choices, and when you made those wrong choices, you end up in companies which poor culture. And it depends on the manager that is that kind of working there, the environment. But some of the core companies, I have heard from most of my colleagues or friends, that they have some rough culture. At least I have faced those rough culture, the way they speak, some abuses. And yeah, I have seen that. And most part of the difference, or most part of the learning comes from actual software. And actual software, especially life, is not something that you can install in your personal laptop and learn. You have to learn it on the job. And that is the main difference between an experienced person and a fresher person. The more experience I got, the more better I got in actual software. Right now I know, okay, this is the error, This is where I have to look into. That intuition has developed inside me. A fresher would not have that intuition. So when you are giving a task to a fresher, and if you expect that similar intuition from that person, from there that rough culture comes into picture. In a KPO setup or in a consultancy setup, you are given some training period, which is unlikely for a core company. So that's why there is some rough culture. And if you are coming in actually, and if you want to work in a core company to just improve your learning, this might be one point that you need to consider. Also, a few of the more disadvantages: post stress management, which is one of the plus point of MBA. I have seen the actuaries are very poor stress managers, because actuaries are those people who are always good in studies. They have not faced much stress in their life. Right? They have always been the first, second, third, or fourth in their life, and that's why when real stress comes, when someone is telling them to kind of finish something, it's very difficult for them to say no, because it will hit their ego, right? So they want their team to kind of finish things in much quicker manner. So they will say a 4 hour work to their, and they will communicate that to their junior, saying that it is a 2 hour work, and that will put tremendous stress that might increase the chance of error. So stress management in actually is very poor. I have not seen many good stress managers in actually in my life, and I can feel the difference because I've done an MBA where I have managed stress, and a person who has not done MBA would like an actuary who is very good technically, but stress management is usually very poor in an actuary. Always afraid or prudent. Prudence is a big part of actually. I think we have read chapters over chapters, subjects over subjects on being prudent, and that is somehow also kind of gets ingrained in our personality. So we are always kind of afraid to ask questions, always kind of afraid to raise point. So that is something that is kind of very prevalent in actually. Unless you are working at a very senior role, this is a problem. From that prudent or afraid, what stems out is client is God, especially if you're working in a consultancy setup or KPO setup, and we are servant, because we have been ruled by British for 200 years. We have that kind of thing in our culture, and whenever we are talking to someone, say who's from Canada, US, we have that thing that they are controlling us. We have to kind of respect everything they say, and we cannot say no to them. So that client is God, and we are servant culture is there. In fact, I remember when I was in a in one of my old company in a KPO, there was a person, and I that person inquired to me about if I've got any study related, like if you pass paper you will get increment, study increment. I have not got that increment. That the person inquired that have you got your study increment, and I wrote back to the person, I have not got it, I am expecting to get it soon. And the head of Indian actually, they that person kind of made me saying that don't speak to senior person without speaking to me, or don't email senior person speaking to me. So that can kind of focus that can show you the focus on all these 3 points, like stress, post stress management, afraid, and client is God, and we are servant. So that's how it is, and many people are like that. I don't blame that person. I'm not naming that person. I can easily name them, and I do have that mail, because I felt very bad when that mail came to me, and I thought that when I go to that level, I am not going to use this kind of word to any of my juniors. I mean, whatever their point is, they can say it freely. Otherwise, what's the point on being a manager if I can't defend the person who is junior to me? Is once again, for the lack of better word, it's dumb. True knowledge is limited, as I mentioned. There are many actuaries, many people are qualifying right now, but whether they believe in themselves that they have proper knowledge is something a big question mark. And true knowledge is limited, hence there is only few mentors to kind of teach that we can see. There are very few, say, YouTube channels, people who are kind of at that senior level, probably things that they don't have the time to do so. And yeah, I mean, true knowledge is really limited. There are only very few people who can simplify actually for you. I am trying to do the same here, and hopefully I succeed. Depends on your comment and feedback. Yeah, moving on. So final verdict, coming to the last, I don't want to make this video that long, but I think it has become quite long. But in any case, I think this is relevant. So final verdict, it actually is a limited opportunity to kind of create a startup if you want to create a business, because actuaries are working in life insurance, general insurance, pension. So all these are highly capital intensive business. These are products of developed economy, right? So that's why you can't start a life insurance company. You require a lot of capital. You can't start say a pension fund, right? You require a lot of capital, a lot of contacts. So it is very difficult for actuaries just by using their skill. They can't create a startup. So I mean, they can move into slightly other domain, like they can probably develop a portion of a software which are actual software, but creating a startup just on the basis of their core skills would be difficult. But new fields are emerging and more easy for actually, as for example, artificial intelligence is more closer to the mathematics part of it, and artificial intelligence is an generalist field. Like if you are good in some portion, then artificial intelligence become more relevant for you. As for example, if you're trading and if you're very good in trading, you can use artificial intelligence to identify the trends, the patterns, the spots. So that you can do. So you have to be good in one thing, and then artificial intelligence can augment that thing for you. So if you are good in actuary, that means you are strong in one discipline, maybe life insurance, maybe general insurance, and then you can use that to your advantage. You can use artificial intelligence to create something that has never been created in the past. Right? So that is actually has more hold over artificial. Actually can learn artificial intelligence or fields like that much quicker as compared to an MBA who is a generalist person. The fees of actually is obviously spread over time. This is a point that I have covered already. And one point I like to make is that executive MBA are useless. Please don't do it. No matter from which IM you do it, it's useless. Only 1 year MBA that is relevant is from ISB, which is located in Hyderabad, Indian School of Business. That is the only MBA you should like try for. Otherwise, if you're doing 1 year MBA, it's useless. Don't do it. Just an wastage of money. You are doing something just for certificate. It is always an useless thing. Do something for knowledge, and if you are getting a certificate in the process, then nothing like it. But if you are doing something just for certificate so that it will help you in career, it is just a short term gain. It will soon fizzle out. So MBA is past, actually is present, but future is artificial intelligence or machine learning. So where both the skills of both MBA and actually would be used, and the newest tech actually is the future. So anybody can earn 1 crore. Ignore the city; it should be CR. Anybody can earn 1 crore in any field. There is I remember one of the example that one of my teacher used to give me is the saloon created by Habib. It's just a hair cutting salon, right? And that person is earning crores, and that person is probably a millionaire or billionaire. So anybody can earn 1 crore in any field. It should not be actuary or it should not be MBA. You just have to be good in that field. As I mentioned, to me, actuary is the person who can answer the why in the business or in the industry he's working. So that is actually right. If you can answer the why, then you can easily earn 1 crore. Find out what your passion is, whether you are a street mass person, whether you want to do MBA, whether you want to do marketing, whether you like people, like being around people, whether you don't like being around people. So find out what your passion is and do that, so that every day would not be working day, but would be a learning day or a challenging day where you get to learn something. Like happiness is moving from one challenge to another. People say the goal of life is to be happy. I say the goal of life is to find new challenges, so that if you move from one challenge to another, your dopamine level would increase and you'll feel very happy. So that's and it'll also grow in the process, right? So actually is a 20 times more skillful than MBA. Obviously, project manager, communicator, coder, finance, 20 times more skillful than MBA. MBAs manages stress much better. I cannot say 20 times better than actually, but obviously better than actually. So that's it. I think, that's the verdict. So I think you probably know actually is if you are aiming for skill set, you should go for actually. If you are aiming for, say, street smartness, contacts, So then probably MBA would be a better option. Although in today's world, I don't see any value in doing an MBA, to be very honest. That's because anything you can learn online, and it's just you are going to get a certificate and tag. And I think 5 years down the line, that might also not be that relevant. It is just today it is relevant, but maybe 5 years down the line it is not relevant. If you have probably using that money, if you have created two failed startup, then you would have learned much more than an MBA person did, and then probably you have much more context than MBA person did, right? And the same thing can happen in Actuary as well. Over a period of time, you obviously get contacts, uh, and you probably will know people who have money in the who are working in the top, so they can also lend you money for your a bonus. And obviously a qualified actuary will not have any problem in taking a loan or anything, but it depends on your taste. Not everyone can be an actuary, and by actually I mean it's not related to clearing the paper, it's understanding the why part. Not everyone can do that, so you have to understand whether you have the aptitude for being an actuary. But everyone can be an MBA. So if you are looking for a job, if you are not that ambitious, and if you think that something I need to do something in my life and then I will enjoy the life, where it's not, life is not about being serious, then I think actually is for you. MBA is for you. So finally, I think these are purely my quotations. What I am going to show you. So I think there are three things that are required for success. And by success, I don't mean actually your MBA. As I mentioned, you can even run a food stall in the street, and you can become a millionaire. There are so many examples, right? So you just need to love something. You just need to be passionate about something, and you will earn a lot of money. That is not the point. Just find out what you are passionate about, and whether it is actually, whether it is MBA, will do well. And I think I have given you fair comparison between actual and MBA, so anyone can understand what they probably want to do, whether MBA actually, or if you are doing an actually, whether it is making any sense for you to do an MBA at a given point of time. So coming back to three things required for success. First is self-awareness and not self-love. I have created a video which is a psychology video based on trading. So I can also share the link here. You can go and watch that video. So yeah, self-awareness and self-love. Ignore the spelling of self-awareness. I have kind of missed one S. Then future prediction. So actually has a role in future prediction. Obviously, the things that we doing in everyday work, that is future prediction only. And finally, is decision making. So just to give an example, suppose you are playing a cricket match, and there are three people who is out before you, and you usually go at four number. However, you know that while fielding before 1 hour before, you have kind of pulled a muscle, and you can't kind of go out there and bat because there are too many overs left. So what you have to do is, so first of all, you need that self-awareness, and you can't say that no, I am the best person here, I should go because I have gone in the past, and there are, I mean, you cannot love yourself so much that you will push yourself into that situation. Here you need to let go and tell someone else to kind of take the position, so that you can probably use your expertise in the last, say, 4 5 overs, when you don't have to run that much, right? Next is future prediction. Suppose you have gone to bat. Now, the bowler who is bowling you is also as equally skilled as you. So how can you become better? You have to just think couple of seconds earlier than that bowler. So if the first ball that that person has bowled probably is a yorker, then maybe the next ball might be a bouncer, just to push you in the back foot. So that future prediction is what makes good batsmen. They are gauging what the bowler is going to do, and the bowler is also doing the same thing. So whoever is winning that battle would be scoring runs or getting wickets. So future prediction is very important. Finally, decision making. There are many people who would be able to do the first and second point well. They are self-aware. They know what they can do and what they can't do at a particular point of time. They can also predict future to an extent, but when it comes to decision making, they would be very difficult. The best example is trading. You know that the market is going to fall. You know that you have money, and if you put the money here, and if you hold the trade, you are going to make a lot of money, but you just can't press the button, because what if you lose that money? So decision making is something that separates best from a better. So I think that's the important. So if you have these three things, no matter what you do, no matter you are educated or not educated, whether you are MBA, whether you're an actuary, you will succeed in life. And by success I mean what the society calls success. You may still succeed and be very unhappy within, but I'm not talking about that. That is a I mean, that is a topic for another discussion, another video. But if you have these three things, at least in the eyes of society, you will be tremendously successful. So these are my quotation only. Someone might disagree with this completely. That's perfectly fine. So yeah, I think I have taken a lot of time than I expected. I hope this will help a lot of people. Once again, please like the video if you like the content, and provide comment if you don't like something, or provide feedback if you disagree with something. I'm very happy to accept my mistake, and I will give you credit where you deserve. And if you like it, then please share it. I hope that it will help many people, and also subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you today at 7:30.